Just to go over it really quickly, the model involves 2 different rooms. All of our students come in first to a homeroom where there's administrator, then they are passed off to the classroom with the teacher, and then at the end back to the homeroom with the administrator.
That gives the teacher some buffer time before and after class to get their head settled.
When we used to teach classes in person, the administrator or the customer service people back in our office were always receiving emails from the parents of our students. Our students were children.
So as a student in a digital classroom, it can feel like a transition and helps break up a whole hour or more.
Students would be sent the link and they would join the classroom, and then I would run my class. It was a 1-hour session, and then after that I'd say goodbye to the students and they left. It sounds pretty simple, but in reality it was actually a lot to manage.
As you know, it's not as easy as like, okay, I leave this classroom and I walk to my next classroom. Like everything happens virtually. They just click a button, they're put into some other space, and there's like other students there. And if you have the peace of mind that everybody that's going to join is supposed to be there, just focus on teaching the class.
Additionally, there are the benefits that this holds to opportunities for feedback. By coming back here and being able to talk to somebody else, you have an opportunity to be more open.
As the students entered, I had to make sure the technology was working. I had to make sure their cameras were working, that I can hear them and they can hear me.
Questions about what other classes I can take, or maybe my video and my mic weren't working. How can I fix that?
And then if I was sharing a screen, I would also have to check that that my sound from my computer was being output if I had an activity that depended on sound. So there was quite a bit to manage.
And the administrators really didn't always know if they received a phone call. They didn't always really know what had happened in the classroom, and so then they would have to say, "Oh, can I get your number and what's your child's name, and let me call you back." And then they would have to call the teacher.
Less likely to talk directly to the teacher about what you liked and disliked about the lesson. But if you go into another space, another digital space with another person, you have more confidence and ability to give that feedback, to talk about this was easy, this was hard, especially if someone's specifically asking you those questions.
And I even had to, I think oftentimes when students join the classroom, they don't have the proper names, either they have their parents' names, so then I have to go and either ask them to rename it, or I would go and rename their names myself. And at the same time, I would take attendance, and then I'd have to disable their private chat, disable annotations if I'm sharing the screen.
They can send the students back to the main room, and then the admin would help them with all the logistics and questions.
With this model where the administrator actually talks to the student at the end of the class, they actually hear directly from the student. This was my experience today. This was the thing that I really liked today. This is something that happened that I didn't want to see again. And so when the parent contacts the administrator doesn't have to talk to anybody else. They heard directly, as they say, from the horse's mouth about what that child's experience is.
This solves a lot of problems. The assumption is that in the homeroom, it's being run by other staff, maybe administrative staff, maybe there could be some tech support in there as well. And that means if all the students are in there, that means I can be in this other digital room or digital Zoom meeting, and I would be in the classroom without the students, and I could set up everything. I know I could have done this before with, say, a wait room. Zoom has something called a waiting room, but that waiting room is not engaging.
So those are some of the benefits that the student experiences when we split this room up, as opposed to just having one room where the student visits.
So those are the 2 advantages that we've seen from the perspective of the administrator, the getting direct feedback from the students and having accurate attendance.
So that's my video for you. If you haven't yet, go ahead and take a look at some of the responses from my coworkers. You'll see different perspectives from them, like the perspective from a student or from the administrative staff, and even the perspective of a parent. So make sure you watch those. There will be links in the description if you're on YouTube. If you're on the Udemy course, just look at the course menu and make sure to watch all the other perspectives. So thanks for tuning in, and see you on the next one.